She stormed back into the Nigerian apartment, the humid air thick with unspoken anger. Michael, smaller and perpetually caught in the whirlwind of her emotions, braced himself. This wasn't the first fight, nor would it be the last, but the sheer velocity of Angela's rage was a physical force, a hurricane in their tiny living space. "You think you can just lie to me, Michael? You think I'm some stupid American fool?" Her voice, raspy from years of cigarettes and shouting, echoed off the concrete walls. The argument had started over something trivial, a comment on social media, a like on another woman's picture. To Angela, it was a profound betrayal, another crack in the fragile foundation of their intercontinental romance. Michael tried to interject, his voice soft, a placating murmur against her tirade. "Angela, it was nothing, I swear." "Nothing? Don't you dare tell me it's nothing." She jabbed a finger in his face, her long, decorated nails a punctuation mark to her fury. "I left my home, my grandkids, my whole damn life to be here with you, and you're out there disrespecting me? In front of the whole world." This was the core of Angela's recurring torment, a deep-seated insecurity masked by explosive aggression. She demanded absolute loyalty, a level of fealty that seemed almost impossible for anyone to maintain, let alone a younger man living thousands of miles away for most of their relationship. Her grand gestures of love, flying to Nigeria, financially supporting him, fighting with immigration lawyers, were her currency, and she expected to be repaid in unwavering devotion. Any perceived slight was a personal attack on her investment. The fight escalated, as it always did. It moved from the social media comment to his family. She accused his aunt of being a troublemaker, his friends, the goofballs, of being bad influences. Michael defended them, a move that only added fuel to her fire. To Angela, defending them was the same as choosing them over her. "You picking them over me? Your wife. The woman who is trying to tote a baby for you." The baby was another battlefield. At her age, carrying a child was a biological long shot, a fact her doctors had repeatedly confirmed. Yet, the desire for Michael to have a child, and for her to be the one to give it to him, became an obsession. Her daughter, Skyla, was her only hope, the potential egg donor in a saga that felt increasingly desperate. When Skyla expressed her reasonable reluctance, Angela treated it as a personal betrayal, another instance of the world conspiring against her happiness. This particular fight in the Lagos apartment ended with a dramatic exit. She grabbed her purse, a cloud of cigarette smoke her only companion, and declared she was done. It was a threat she wielded like a weapon, the emotional equivalent of a nuclear option. Michael was left in the aftermath, his expression a mixture of exhaustion and resignation. This was the price of his American dream, the toll of loving a woman as volatile and as fiercely protective as Angela Deem. Her journey through weight loss surgery was a testament to her bull-headed determination. While Michael voiced his disapproval from Nigeria, worried about the risks and preferring her larger, more familiar frame, Angela charged ahead. "I'm doing this for me," she insisted, a mantra she repeated to the cameras, to her doctors, to anyone who would listen. But beneath the bravado was a clear desire to feel more secure, to be the sexy Meemaw she envisioned. The process was grueling. Cameras documented every uncomfortable moment. The pre-op consultations, the liquid diet, the painful recovery. She was vulnerable, stripped of her usual armor of aggression, complaining about the pain and her inability to smoke. The surgery was a success in terms of weight loss, but it carved new fault lines into her relationship. She flirted openly with her doctors, particularly a handsome surgeon in Beverly Hills, reveling in the attention. It was a clear double standard. She demanded Michael's monastic devotion while openly testing the boundaries of her own fidelity. The hypocrisy was stark. She would video call Michael, demanding to know his every move, while simultaneously getting a Botox touch-up and joking with the doctor. When Michael would inevitably get upset, she would turn it around. "You're supposed to be supporting me. I'm doing this for us. To be healthy for you." The tell-all episodes were Angela's natural habitat. On a stage filled with other cast members, she was the undisputed queen, the central point of gravity around which all drama revolved. She would arrive like a prizefighter, ready to take on anyone who challenged her or her man. Her feuds were legendary. She clashed with Rachel, with Rebecca, and most notably, with Usman Sojiboy Umar, another Nigerian cast member whom she saw as a scammer. Her confrontations were physical and visceral. She'd leap from the couch, her voice reaching a fever pitch, security guards scrambling to hold her back. In one infamous tell-all, she faced off against Michael's Aunt Lydia via video call. Lydia had dared to question Angela's suitability as a wife, and Angela unloaded a torrent of abuse, her face inches from the screen, screaming at the pixelated image of the older woman in Nigeria. The host, Sean Robinson, could only watch, her attempts at mediation as effective as trying to calm a storm with a whisper. One of the most shocking moments came during a tell-all confrontation with fellow cast member Avery. Avery questioned the double standards in Angela's relationship with Michael, pointing out her controlling behavior. Angela saw this as an unforgivable attack. She got in Avery's face, pointing and screaming, her rage so intense it seemed to suck the air out of the room. It was a raw display of dominance, a warning to anyone else on that stage. Do not cross Angela Deem. But no conflict was more iconic, more symbolic of Angela's entire persona than the cake incident. In Nigeria, during a tense meeting with Michael and his friends, she felt disrespected. Michael wasn't defending her with enough vigor. The goofballs were smirking. In a moment of pure, instinctual fury, she stood up, grabbed a slice of cake, and smashed it into Michael's face. The room fell silent, stunned. Michael, frosting dripping from his nose, looked utterly humiliated. It wasn't just about the cake. It was about control. It was a physical manifestation of her message. I own you. Your public image is mine to create and destroy. She later tried to laugh it off as a joke, but the violence of the act, the sheer contempt in her eyes, told a different story. Her friendships were just as turbulent as her romantic relationship. Her lifelong friend, Jojo, was her steadfast supporter, her confidant through the weight loss surgery. Jojo was the calm to Angela's storm. But even that bond was not immune to Angela's volatility. When Angela felt Jojo wasn't sufficiently on her side during a dispute, she cut her off, publicly and viciously. Loyalty, in Angela's world, was absolute and unconditional. Any deviation was treason. The paradox of Angela is the flicker of vulnerability that lies beneath the hardened, sun-weathered exterior. There are moments, though fleeting, where the mask slips. Crying over her mother's failing health, she revealed a daughter's pain and fear. The joy on her face during her wedding ceremony in Nigeria felt genuine, a moment of triumph after years of struggle. When she spoke about her grandchildren, her babies, her voice would soften, revealing the loving Meemaw she so often proclaimed to be. These moments of softness make her explosions of rage all the more jarring. They show a woman capable of deep love and affection, but one who is ruled by her insecurities. Her greatest fear seems to be abandonment. Her controlling behavior, her constant need for reassurance, her explosive anger at any hint of betrayal, it all stems from a terror of being left, of being made a fool of. She would rather burn the entire relationship to the ground than risk being the one left in the ashes. Her relationship with technology is a fascinating subplot. She uses her phone as both a lifeline and a weapon. The video calls with Michael are a constant source of conflict. She demands he answer at all hours, often waking him up in the middle of the Nigerian night. She scrutinizes his surroundings, asking, "Who is that? Where are you?" if she hears the slightest background noise. The phone is her panopticon, her way of keeping him under surveillance from across the globe. Yet, it's also her tool for flirtation, for connecting with her American doctors and her online fans. She has mastered the art of the social media clapback, posting defiant selfies and aggressive captions aimed at her haters. In a more recent season, the cracks in her marriage to Michael widened into a chasm. With the distance prolonged by visa delays, their connection frayed. Angela, newly slim and confident, began to entertain the idea of a life without him. She met a man online, a former stripper from Canada she nicknamed Billy. She flew to meet him, insisting it was just a friendship, a quest to help him with a health issue. But the flirtation was undeniable. She was doing the very thing she had accused Michael of, the ultimate act of hypocrisy. The confrontation with Michael over this new man was brutal. Over a video call, she flaunted her trip, her new life. Michael, for once, pushed back with real anger. "You are not my wife anymore," he told her, his voice shaking. The power dynamic had shifted. Angela, who had always held the threat of leaving over his head, was now faced with a husband who seemed ready to walk away himself. Her reaction was a familiar cocktail of rage and tearful victimhood. She screamed, she cried, she accused him of being ungrateful. But something had broken. Even her clothing is a form of communication. Her signature look, tight leggings, low-cut tops, her bra straps often visible, her hair pulled back in a tight, functional ponytail, is a declaration. It says, "I am who I am. I don't care what you think." It's the uniform of a woman who is unapologetically, and often aggressively, herself. She dresses for comfort and attention, a combination that perfectly encapsulates her personality. Through it all, Angela remains a captivating figure. Viewers are repulsed by her behavior one moment and grudgingly admiring her tenacity the next. She is a walking contradiction, fiercely independent yet desperately needy, brutally aggressive yet emotionally fragile, demanding of respect while often being profoundly disrespectful to others. She bulldozes her way through life, leaving a trail of broken relationships, smashed cake, and unforgettable television moments in her wake. She is a woman who lives her life at maximum volume, with no apologies. In the universe of 90 Day Fiancé, filled with memorable characters, Angela Deem is not just a star, she is a supernova, burning brighter, hotter, and more chaotically than anyone else. The story is far from over. As long as there are cameras to capture it, Angela will be there, cigarette in hand, ready for her next fight, her next grand gesture, her next moment of pure, unadulterated reality TV gold. She is the Meemaw of all Meemaws, a force of nature that cannot be contained, reasoned with, or ignored.